Hey everyone, I'm Devin, your friendly name board game. Da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Hey everyone, I'm Devin, your friendly neighborhood board gamer, and this is Devin Talks Tabletop, the YouTube series where the games are made up, what I say doesn't matter, and this is Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game from Steamforged Games. They sent me this and God Tier, which I also need to open, but I'm opening this because frankly, rawr, rawr. Hi, I cut to this because I was rambling incoherently for quite a while. This is Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, based off of the video game. I wanted to cover this because I love the video game series. It's one that me and my wife both appreciate the story for. It's visually stunning, and I wanted to see what happened when Steamforged Games adapted one of my favorite video game series into a board game. On the flip side of things, I'm currently playing Horizon Forbidden West, which is the sequel to the original. This is the original narrative, this board game that this is based off of. This is not even in the base game. This is an expansion that has one of these large animals. This is the Thunderjaw. This is in the first game. This is the largest thing that you fight, kind of. Wink, wink. I won't say any more. So if you're unfamiliar with Horizon Zero Dawn, it is a post-apocalyptic, very, very beautiful world that is tribal, split up into different warring groups who have different cultural backgrounds, who have different ideologies, and who have different interpretations of how to survive in this machine populated world. So all of these machines, most of them are hostile, though some of them are docile. And these larger ones are kind of called hunter killers. They're big monsters that are not to be messed with. But the machines are there and they're kind of mysterious as to why the world is populated with these machines. And you follow along the story of the main character. She's the protagonist, Aloy, and she is an exile from the Nora tribe, and she goes in the game and learns about the nature of the world around her, the history of it, her place in it, all of that kind of stuff. And it's just really well done. And I had the chance to play this with Alex and Jesse months ago, closer to when it first released or fulfilled to people. And then I had the opportunity when Ross Thompson from Steamforged was discussing coverage on these games. I was like, hey, I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I would love to take a look at this. And, he was very gracious and allowed me to do so. And now, I'm loath to get rid of an insert, but sometimes it's necessary. We'll see. This isn't even the base game. This is just an expansion for it, the Thunderjaw. The base game does not have this large, mighty creature in it. And I already had thoughts or opinions about the base game when we played it. Because the mechanical or the thematic, no, not thematic, it is more mechanical. The gameplay experience of Horizon Zero Dawn is a mix of two things. It's a mix of stealth and combat. The combat ranges from ranged to straight up melee in the face of these beasts, and you're supposed to use items that you have and particular elemental resistances to create effective hunting matchups against these machines. How you take it down is your prerogative, but the goal is to be the master over machines through your ingenuity. All the tribes fight differently, and at the end of the day, it comes down to, do you have what it takes to go after these beasts or these machines? The core game has some stuff that I was shaky about, because just based off the first play, there's different modes that you can go into with competitive, co-op, or semi-co-op, and there was stuff that I wanted to be done differently, but I saw potential. And so I wanted to explore it again. To see what was up. You've got several different types of creatures in this base game. You've got these little guys, which are scrappers. They're kind of like scavenge beasts that are large dogs in terms of size. You've got these, what are these? Walkers? No, chargers. Chargers, they're mounts that you can ride on in the game. I can't remember if you can, I don't think you can do anything mounted in this, but they're another low entry one. You've got these shell walkers, which are crabs that generate shields here and have their own little like pulse cannons. And then they've got this massive container cargo canister on their back, which in the game, when you hit weak points, you can detach components. This is a component. Weapons are typically components. So there's a lot of strategy in removing the advantages of the devices or components or weapons that machines have, and then neutralizing them or making them less effective. This big boy is a Ravager. They're annoying. They're kind of like in the beginning of the game, they're a high tier enemy. Towards the end, they kind of become mid tier. But all of these are some entry level creatures. You have, and then you've got Watchers, and then you've got Graze Horns. I'm trying to remember what they're called. Grazers, I think. And they're docile until you attack them. Got all the different cards here. The curious thing about the gameplay was they really break it down into, how do you describe this? They really break it down into card play, card management, because cards are your health. You don't want to run out of cards because then you become knocked unconscious. But on the flip side of things, the cards can also feel frustrating. Like for ranged elements, you need to have both the weapon and ammo cards, which feels like a frustrating limitation to have a condition in which you need two different cards to like fire a bow and arrow. But again, it was an exploratory first play, so I never want to count anything out when I'm doing something for the first time. And I want to explore the couple of different modes of play that are available. You've got, co-op or competitive stuff. And I really want to give it a run for its money. So that is kind of my goal in getting this for myself, is to form a more nuanced opinion based off of multiple plays. And I really hope that it works. I really don't mind if I find that only one version of it is what I like. I don't mind that. I don't mind that this is a game where I go, oh no, I just play this cooperatively. Or, oh no, I just play this competitively. I don't really mind that because I do that for a ton of games. I have games where I'm like, no, I only play this at 2 players. No, I only play this with people that don't play games often. I have those qualifiers for a bunch of different games in my collection. Now, obviously, if there's an overlap, if there's a Venn diagram of what works, I prefer that. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't. I don't. What do you guys think about that? Does it bother you to have a game fit a very niche category? The bigger the collection you have, I think the more natural that is. If you have a smaller collection, then maybe you want more and more of those games to kind of hit at a certain wide spread so you get the most bang for your buck. But I have enough games that I don't mind if they only fit a certain category of when I bring them to the table, because then whenever those conditions are met, then I get that game out. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's typically games like this that I'm more critical of because I have an attachment to the IP, because I care about the story of what this game is trying to adapt. I'm a little bit more cautious about, I want this to be done well because I know what's going on in here. I know the game. I don't know. What are your favorite video games? Or it doesn't have to be video games. What are your favorite IPs that have been translated into board games? I want to know, because I really, really like Horizon Zero Dawn, so I'm excited that it's here. Everybody wants to watch it when I just talk like this. Everybody does. Okay, I got all the cards organized. Hopefully in that span of time, which was a long span of time, it took me way too long, you've thought about your answer to the question of the kind of IPs that you like to see translated to the board game world. And I'm not going to do the punch outs because I think that'll take too long right now. And I'm already way over the amount of time that I deserve to even be heard. Let me know. I'm curious. I'm really excited to give this a second chance, or just continue to play with it until I can form an opinion that I feel like is merited. I think that's it. Timestamp. Cheese knife. Hamster. Tea. Horizon.